Hello, readers of the soul. Welcome once again to Maravillas de Libros, the channel where books are not only read, they are lived. Today we have a very special video, 10 classics that everyone should read at least once in a lifetime. Whether you're a literature lover, a casual reader, or someone looking to start reading more, this video is for you. If you love books, life-changing stories, and literary journeys through time and the human soul, subscribe now. Hit the like button and activate the little bell so you don't miss any video. Now, let's start with our top 10. Don Quixote de la Mancha, Miguel de Cervantes. Considered the first modern novel, Don Quixote de la Mancha is much more than the story of a nobleman who goes mad reading chivalry books. It is a critique, a satire, and at the same time a tribute to the power of imagination. Cervantes creates unforgettable characters like Sancho Panza and takes us on dusty roads full of symbolism, humor, and humanity. Beyond the windmills, the real struggle lies within the protagonist, in his eagerness to live in a more just and courageous world. To read this book is to enter a mirror of reality, with a linguistic and philosophical richness that is still valid centuries later. 2. 100 Years of Solitude, Gabriel Garcia Marquez. A masterpiece of magical realism, 100 Years of Solitude tells the story of the Buendia family in the mythical town of Macondo. Garcia Marquez creates a universe that masterfully blends the fantastic with the everyday. Each generation repeats the mistakes of the previous one in an almost hypnotic cycle. The story is an allegory about power, loneliness, time and memory in Latin America. It is a book that must be read carefully, let yourself be carried away by its poetic prose, and understand that in its pages, not everything makes rational sense, but emotional and symbolic. 3. Crime and Punishment, Fyodor Dostoevsky Raskolnikov, a young student in St. Petersburg, murders an old usurer convinced that he is doing a greater good, but guilt gnaws at him from the inside. Crime and Punishment is not only a crime story, it is a psychological journey through human conscience, guilt, redemption, and the struggle between good and evil. Dostoevsky lays bare the human soul as few writers have done. It is an intense, profound, and absolutely transformative read. 4. Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen. One of the most beloved novels of all time, Pride and Prejudice introduces us to Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy in a game of misunderstanding, social class, and personal growth. Jane Austen achieves a subtle critique of English society of her time, with charming irony and strong, complex female characters. More than a love story, it is a brilliant portrait of how pride and prejudice can cloud our most important decisions. 5. 1984, George Orwell. A dystopian novel that seems more topical than ever. In 1984, Orwell presents us with a world controlled by a totalitarian state where Big Brother watches over everything. Language is manipulated, truth is a political construct, and individual freedom is forbidden. It is a powerful warning about the dangers of authoritarianism, censorship, and ideological manipulation. This book shakes you up and forces you to think about the world you are building today. 6. The Odyssey, Homer, one of the oldest and most fascinating epics in literature. The Odyssey narrates Odysseus's long journey back to Ithaca after the Trojan War. Twas monsters, mermaids, and sorceresses cross his path, but the most important thing is not the destination, but the journey itself. This classic speaks of courage, cunning, perseverance, and longing for home. Its poetry and symbolism have influenced the narrative of all times. 7. The Little Prince, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Although it sounds like a children's story, The Little Prince is a philosophical gem full of tenderness and wisdom. From its famous "What is essential is invisible to the eye" to its teachings on friendship, love, and loss, this book speaks directly to the heart. Through a little prince who travels from planet to planet, we rediscover what really matters in life. Short but infinite. 8. In Search of Lost Time, Marcel Proust. One of the most ambitious works of world literature, In Search of Lost Time is an exploration of memory, time, and identity. Through detailed descriptions and introspective prose, Proust turns the everyday into something sublime. It is not an easy read, but it is a unique literary experience. If you've ever stopped to think about a smell, an image, or a moment from the past, this book is for you. 9. Hamlet, William Shakespeare. The tragedy of the Prince of Denmark is one of the most influential plays of all time. Hamlet is a meditation on revenge, madness, existential doubt, and the corruption of power. With immortal phrases such as, "to be or not to be," Shakespeare gives us a window into the human soul in crisis. Each reading reveals new nuances, new interpretations. A play that never runs out of steam. 10. Madame Bovary, Gustave Flaubert. Emma Bovary dreams of a life of passion and luxury, very different from the monotonous reality she lives. Madame Bovary is a critique of romanticism, unrealistic ideals, and social limitations imposed on women. Flaubert wrote this novel with a surgical, almost obsessive precision, and laid the foundations of modern narrative. Emma is one of the most complex and human characters in literature, and so much for our journey through 10 must-read classics. Each of these books has marked the history of literature and will surely touch some fiber of your reading soul. Which of these have you already read? Which one would you add to this list? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to read you. And don't forget, give, like, subscribe, turn on the little bell to keep exploring the wonders of books. See you in the next video, soul readers.